Stan and Ollie are down to their last $6. They visit an employment agency, where a call comes from Mrs. Vanderveer looking for a maid and butler to help at a dinner party she is holding that night. Ollie tells the receptionist they can fill the post. They arrive and Stan is dressed in drag, pretending to be the maid, Agnes. At the dinner party, Stan is told to take the cocktails. But instead of clearing them away, he drinks them and becomes drunk. Mr. Vanderveer gets impatient with Ollie's incompetent attempts to seat the guests. When Mr. Vanderveer tells the drunken Stan to serve up the salad without dressing, Stan serves the salad in his underwear. Mrs. Vanderveer faints at the sight of Stan, and Mr. Vanderveer chases Stan and Ollie out of the house. Stan and Ollie then become road sweepers and wonder why they are always in the gutter. They decide to get an education because, in Stan's words, we're not illiterate enough. They eat their lunch outside a bank building while a robbery is taking place inside. They inadvertently catch the robber when he slips on a banana peel tossed on the sidewalk by Stan. The grateful bank manager offers them a job in his bank. When Oliver mentions they would not be much use since he and Stan do not have an education, the bank president expands on their goal to attend night school by saying, "If it's an education you want, you shall have the finest education money can buy." He enrolls Stan and Ollie at Oxford University in England, and they depart the U.S. for England by liner, arriving at Southampton then taking a steam train north to Oxford. When Stan and Ollie arrive at the university, they are accidentally dressed for Eton College. The snobby undergraduate students, led by the mischievous Johnson, Gerald Rogers, decide to give them the royal initiation, which involves a number of pranks. They are sent off into a maze and quickly became lost. One of the students, Henry Borden, dresses as a ghost to frighten Stan and Ollie, and while they sit on a bench to sleep, the ghost's hand comes through the hedge to help Stan smoke his pipe and cigar, substituting for Stan's actual hand. Stan and Ollie finally exit the maze the next morning. Johnson poses as the dean and gives Stan and Ollie the real dean's quarters to live in. They make themselves at home until they are confronted by the dean and the prank is uncovered. Johnson is threatened with expulsion, but the students plan to drive Stan and Ollie away to stop them testifying. Meanwhile, the boys arrive at their real quarters where Meredith the valet recognizes Stan as Lord Paddington, the greatest athlete and scholar the university ever had. He says that Lord Paddington had lost his memory and wandered from campus after a window fell on his head. Stan dismisses the story, as does Ollie, who insists that Stan is the dumbest guy he ever met. The students arrive in a slowly chanting mob, in a parody of the hazing scene from A Yank at Oxford. They attempt to throw Stan and Ollie out the window, but the boys try to escape through the window into the next room. The window falls on Stan's head, which transforms him back into Lord Paddington. When the students call him a dirty snitcher, he becomes angry and his ears wiggle, something that occurs whenever Lord Paddington becomes angry, according to Meredith's story, and he throws the students out of the window. Stan does not remember Ollie any longer and throws him out the window as well. Lord Paddington takes pity on Ollie and employs him to be his personal valet. The transformed Stan is superhuman in intellect and body. His mantle is covered with athletic trophies, and his advice is sought by Albert Einstein. He nicknames Ollie Fatty and criticizes his manner as a servant, which makes Ollie so angry he quits his job and storms out. Stan hears students come to cheer him outside. As he looks out of the window, it falls on his head once again, returning him back to his usual dumb self. Ollie storms back in, still on a tirade about the way Lord Paddington treats him. And stops only when he realizes that Stan is now back to normal. Ollie hugs his best friend. In an uncharacteristically happy ending.